Right, so after yesterday's superb Binatone 5-star, 41 years old, we turn our attentions to a set that's only just not current. It's a TTI, and you reckon something's come away inside. TTI 1100. I know we've had one of these before. I think we've done a video on one. I've got my last wedding of the year to play for, unless somebody else decides to suddenly get married. So I take it we take this bit off. Next question is, are these captive? No, they're not captive. Try not to send accessories, because it's easy for things to get lost. We having to stack jobs just to try and get things done within 28 days, because that organ we're doing is absolute priority, and that's our job at the end of the day. So what we're going to do, take the lid off. Which lid's that going to be? Whichever lid I take off, it'll be the wrong one. I can just see some works inside, so I think we're going to take this lid off. Serial number 311. I'm going to have to read his letter again. Oh, is that it? Oh, well, yes. So, has that been reverse polarity for an extended period? So it's L2 and it belongs down there. You can see where it's come from. So we're going to have to extend the wires on one of those to get it in vertically. So I expect it's dead without that. I'll just prove that in a moment. Let's hope that's all that's wrong with it, because I'll just charge him retune and test plus £3. And not service level 1, which I said I would. Sorry, service level 2. So to get to that, yeah, no, it's not in the screened area, so that's not too scary. I can't see anything with any holes in it. So I'm going to power it up. I don't expect it does anything without that. It's a thick power lead. Power that up. And it's dead. So that's predictable with that kind of snag. Try and solder where it goes. Hope the regulator's not knackered. And when I've put that back in, we'll check whether we've got continuity on that diode. But for that to happen, that looks like it's had no fuse. So what fuse is in here? Five amp? What is that? So I'm going to have to look at the instruction book. I think the most power hungry CB I've ever seen is just under 2.5 amps. It's funny, isn't it, that the older sets, some of them only draw 900 milliamps. Did I say that right? 900 milliamps on transmit. Yet some of these newer ones are more power hungry. You'd think things would get greener, but no. Now, because it's a plated through board, I think we're going to have to extract by putting surgical scissors on the other side and pulling the wire out. I don't have any of those on this bench. Just see if I can do it with the snap nose pliers. Not that one. That's got that one out. So now go with the solder sucker again. That's cleared that hole. We'll add some solder to this one and see whether we can get on there again. I'm just scared of the print coming away, the double-sided boards, and it's had a lot of heat. Still a Black would have said a Laura heat. Well, that's blocked my solder sucker. That was a jolly good slurp. And what I'm trying to see is there any print left on this side, because it's had such a burn up with that current it's drawn. Right. So these are chokes to stop interference down the power line. Can I speak properly today? I can't. So, to be honest, I'm going to check it's not open circuit. Scrape some of the insulation away. It is supposed to be soldered through. But I hope there isn't a problem in this customer's installation, so that when this radio goes back in, it immediately does exactly the same again, but it doesn't recover from it next time, you know, because it's this kind of thing can of course kill the radio. Just cut that bad bit off. So what we're going to do is undo one turn, so we've now got a component like that. Inductor 17 microhenry, so you know it's not open circuit. So it's going to be fun to thread through, isn't it, from the other side? Just check that the pins go through the holes. And we'll end up putting some hot glue on. And they've put sleeving on it, haven't they? You know what? I think we'll put some sleeving on it at this point. Ours isn't see-through though, we've only got this. This will kind of keep it together. So it'll actually help me insert this. So I managed to get that some of the way down. It's enough to hold the wires. And then we'll put hot glue as well so it doesn't shift around. So I can get that through from the other side. Can I get it through from this side? I can't see either of the legs gone through there. See, when you're buying new components, you're going to have longer legs than this, and so it's quite easy to thread through. But when it's like this, I might end up unsoldering that next one. I've actually got one through, and I'm tempted to solder this one in now. Is because the plating's gone in the board, I'm going to take this cable grommet out, push those wires over so that we can actually have to solder it from this side. Oh look, that took out more easy than I was expecting. That's never not been out before, has it? So I'm going to have to solder down there onto the what's left of the pad this side. Well, you know what, it's gone in. Now I'll get that other leg to go. I'll pause the video while we do that. Right, so we've got the thing working. I'm going to get some hot glue down there. So it's the black one in the sleeving I put in. I've got that grommet to put back. Put those wires back through. The idea was not to try not to melt them with the soldering iron. So, with the service manual in paw, I've just emailed the customer. I don't know whether he uses he's come on UK 40 FM, and I have just asked him whether he uses CPT, because it makes a difference to the optimization, of course. So let's just have a look at what we've got to do. Just going to make sure that the VCO is somewhere near. I don't expect the radio's being messed with at all. It's just something's happened. I think it's ended up being reverse polarityed, and it's got quite a hefty diode. I'll check that that fuse is supposed to be 5 amp, because we would normally be putting 2.5 or 3 or something like that in. I will put the radio on power supply to 13.8 now the set's working. Oh, it doesn't like that. Just start again. I switched the power supply off and back on again, and it went into a strange mode. So test point for VCO is where? So it says see figure 1, but it doesn't tell you where the test point is, does it? So do we have to start messing about looking at layouts? Don't tell me there's no layout in this manual. You see, when you manage to get hold of manuals like this, you then discover that the stupid thing's incomplete. No layout. So unless it says test point 1 on the other side, no, so we can't do that, skip that. So they want you to do sensibly transmit first. They're going to have you do it on channel 19 CPT, but we're not. We're going to assume he's using UK channels. I'm going to keep this on the bench overnight, and if I get an email by tomorrow lunchtime saying that he uses the 80 channel capability, well, we'll redo it, but I'm going to assume he doesn't. But we still don't have a layout, so we've got to see if we can see what's what. So 701 we're looking for. Yes, 701 is there, and 703. Well, 703 is most likely going to be that one there. So we'll put that meter away. Let's see what power it's doing then. So it's doing 2.9 watts. We'll keep it on that scale for now. Change scales. Now we're at the 3. Adjust the CT1 for the frequency. I was supposed to put picture in picture on. You didn't see that, did you? I'm going to have to. I can't even. The trouble is, I can't see the monitor from where I am. When it was a CRT monitor, I could see, but I can't because of the limited viewing angle. Right, where were we? Oh yes, frequency. So I'll put the camera onto the frequency counter. $27,79118 is, well, it's spot on, isn't it? But we'll just touch it. See if we can get it a bit nearer to 125. There we go. So deviation is 107. I'll just check where that is now. Wallow, it's about 1.8, typical of a new set being pretty low. See whether we can bring that up. That doesn't fit. Oh, that's broken. That's great, isn't it? It's just a cover. I presume that it's got the actual presets under here. There we go. Wow, look, now it's too loud. I'm going to have to take that plastic bag off, I think. Try it there. Wow, look, spot on now. So we'll go over to receive now. Put the oscilloscope on. There's an S9 equivalent signal of 100 microvolts on, and we'll plug the extension speaker in to the test gear. Anyone know why that's flashing 20? Right, so if we now look at the detector, FM audio output is L109, which is that one. Wow, that's miles out. I don't think there's going to be any real adjustments on the receiver. I'll check. See what the synad is. So for 12 dB synad, it's 1 microvolt, which, you know, is not great, is it? So let's see whether we can adjust any of these, but then I don't think they're as preset as they look. If I said that right. Is that supposed to have a core in it? I don't know. These are... I don't even know these are adjustable. Yeah, they look adjustable, but I don't think they are. I'm going to have to look at some pictures of it, or open another of our sets up to see about that. I can't understand why there's no core in that, but it's not floating around inside. But it may be just using the former. So what's the specification? No, it's in spec. It's 20 dB synod is supposed to be 1 microvolt. Then it goes on about AM supposed to be 10 dB synod for 1. And we're not doing AM unless the customer says so. We do have different tariffs. I don't think we do half a job if the customer wants other things doing. If we were putting this into CPT and tuning it on the average for both sets of channels and doing the AM on CPT, then it's a different set of fees. So I don't like to waste people's money when they're not going to use CPT. I would suspect the gentleman's probably a lorry driver, and I would not think you'd be using CPT in a lorry. So it certainly doesn't work here. We just get rubbish range because of the interference. Any mention of fuses, I wonder? So what we can do, apart from brush one of the screws onto the floor, what we can do is make sure the S meter's set correctly. It's not mentioned, but there's an adjustment for it. So if we put S9 on, I'll take picture in picture off. Yeah, it's one of these things with these 2 bars at a time. So you've got 2 for S1, then you've got the next 2, the next 2, the next 2, and the final 2. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So people, were saying yesterday when we did the Midland 77805 with its 4 LEDs, oh, it's only got 4 LEDs. Well, this has only got 5 LCD stages, yet it has 10, but only 5. It's in 5 stages. So not brilliant. I'm sure they're nice sets, but don't look at them as being newer and better. So that is 100 microvolts, and it's absolutely bang on the money with the S meter setting. So that's fantastic. That's something which is right. There is no transmit adjustment. So when I key up, we know the radio is doing 3 watts, and it bangs out the whole lot. There's no adjustment for that. It's pre-programmed. So I need to just check that we've got the 12 volt regulator setting set right, because that could affect transmit. No mention of that in the service manual, so I'm going to have to look at the circuit diagram and see if I can figure out what that is doing and where to test it. So we'll pause the video. So this is all educated guesswork. One of the pins on the regulator I see is 11 volts. So chances are, so if you look at the end pin, it's 13.8. Look at the next pin down, it's 11. I suspect that's supposed to be 12. So if we turn the preset, and hope this one doesn't snap its cover off. So there we go, we've now got 12. Check it once again, I've taken the tool out. So now I'm hoping that when we're going to transmit, that we've probably got a bit more than the 3 watts. So I'll put picture in, picture back on, and we'll switch to camera 1. So the desk move, I'm going to have to reset the memories on this. It's now doing 3.7 watts. So there you are, that's an improvement. So we'll leave it at that for now. Let's check the deviation's still the same. Wallow, yeah, it's still the same. Good. So I'll come back to this tomorrow and see if he sends me an email, otherwise we'll have it tuned up as I've done it for the UK set of channels. But don't be tempted to set that to something stupid, because I think it's a 24 volt set, isn't it, this? Oh no, it's 13.2. I was thinking it was one of those which auto sets itself. It isn't. Let's just check the specification. It definitely says 13.2 volts on the... Yeah, 13.2 volt supply voltage. Right, so we'll pause the video
again, having to overdub the sound because somebody forgot to put the microphone preamp on. And what I'm saying here is I had to download the instruction book for the TCB1100, which I managed to do successfully off the internet and print it out. Unfortunately, the inkjet cartridge in the printer I used has decided to come to its end, and like a silly fool I had it in colour mode instead of black and white. Had I had it in black and white, this wouldn't have shown up. So I've now sorted that out, but it doesn't help that printout. So it's quite a comprehensive instruction book. And I've managed to print it out just in English. And we needed that because of the having to change modes. So I'll come back to that. Now I found this photo, and if you remember that coil, we didn't know whether it was supposed to have a core or not, whether it was just air-spaced. And in fact that photo, which I found on the internet of the innards, clearly shows there is no core in that. So that was the end of that dilemma, and it meant I didn't have to undo one of my own sets to find out. So that was much relief. Now, some time ago, about 4 years ago, somebody very kindly sent us this. It was a map of the different points we use on the air test, and we look at the extreme left. That is the end of the lane point. We're somewhere down further up the map, where it says village of Sudbrook. We're down there somewhere. So end of lane is that first point on the left. So the third one, which I'm pointing to there, is Ancaster Crossroads. So it's Ancaster, Lincolnshire, not Ancaster, Canada. So any of you who want to follow this, if you get your map up, it's Ancaster there. So we're starting off at Sudbrook. By the time we come to end of the lane, it's that point there, which is about half a mile, to be honest. The petrol station, which is usually shut, it is when we do these tests at 7:30, is there. So that's Ancaster petrol station. There's the crossroads. There's top of the hill. And this next one is Scratchy Corner at Wilsford. Then we get to that point, which I'm now showing, is the level crossing at Wilsford. So we're at the 3 mile point there. That's the Kelby point at 4 miles. That's the 5 mile point at Greylees. And that's about 5.5 miles where the level crossing starts. But in fact, the petrol station is about 300 yards beyond that. And Mr. Chippy stops talking. It's just off the map. There's a roundabout as you head towards Sleaford, where I'm just showing there. And he, just before he comes to that, that's when he ends the transmission, and that's the 6 mile point. Over towards the right, carrying on, and is Sleaford, and where I was just going off the map, it heads towards Mr. Chippy's favourite Lidl shop, and then we've got a road going down there which would end up at Osnby, spelt Osborneby. Now back to the radio. So we're going to have to find out how to set it for another set of channels. It's set to UK 40 at the moment, but because the customer has said that he does want to use CPT and he may want to use AM, then we now need to check all that set right. And so I now need to put the radio into that mode. Now this set was made before 2014, and so it doesn't automatically, when set to UK, do CPT or AM. Actually, it will do CPT FM, but not AM. So we're going to have to put it into Spain mode for these tests for it to do 4 watts AM. So we decided to put the lid on. That was the wrong lid. No, Mr. 21, you take that back off again. That's the one with TTI embossed in it. And you're supposed to put the back 2 screws in to secure it. Like a Wally, I put the side screws in. And I started by putting in the panhead screws. And it should have been the countersunk ones anyway. But the idea was to stop the lid from moving during alignment. So that was all a total waste of time. What am I doing? Taking them back out again to put the countersunk ones, which shouldn't have put back in either. Shows how many sets like this I do. Right, we're finally going to program it up for Spain. So I'm plugging the mic in. So as usual, you switch the set on while holding a selection of buttons. In this case, it's just one button, and it's the button which is the extreme right if it's the other way on, next to the mic connector. So you hold that when switching on, and select the country with the channel selector, or I put the mic in to make it easier for using up down. Then it's locked back in, either pressing that same button again, the one next to the mic connector, or by pressing PTT. Then it locks it into the memory. So it's that button there. So it says CO on the display for country. I'm selecting E for Spain. So we started off with FM CPT just to verify where we were. Because remember on UK it was 3.7 watts, so it's about 3.5 on CPT. And then when you go into AM, it's about 3.2 watts. Of course, the trouble is I have to reset all the signal generators, so you've got this time whilst I'm fiddling with all the retuning knobs on the signal generator to set it up for the different frequencies used for CPT. And that's why we have different tariffs, because it takes longer. So at the moment I'm trying to tune in the modulation meter. And then I discovered that I was trying to set the modulation meter, which of course is AM, when the radio was set to FM. So, you know. But I'm glad I did check, because when we actually got into AM and checked, it was actually over the top. I like them to be around 90%. My trading on business radio said anything over 40% was okay. There was another 15 minutes which I've edited out because doing a voiceover and all the spaces in between I thought was pretty pointless.
I've just got to the stage of editing the video and found that the previous section had no sound. You'll find I'll have overdubbed that, so I may as well re-record the last section, which is where we actually switch the radio on the aerial. I've actually just done the scratchy corner test with Mr. Chippy, so we'll go through it with the radio put back together. I was saying there's quite a lot of features in this radio with the instruction book I've got here, and one of those things, you've got CTCSS, you've got Vox, beep tone, call tone, timeout timer, scan, you can set the delays and things. I've got the ultrasonic cleaners on in the background doing records, by the way, backlight dimmer and channel memory. So there's quite a lot there. You can plug an external S meter in for those of you with a real meter. There we go. So we'll have a flick round. It's now 7:30 in the evening on Sunday. One niner, Roger. Right, so there you have it, the TTI TCB1100. I just hope that the customer knows why this problem occurred with the radio. Must be something in the installation which went wrong, because it wouldn't, I doubt it will survive a burn up like that ever again. So thanks for watching the TTI TCB1100 from around 2014-2015. Still available new, I've noticed. I checked on eBay. I think they're $149.99.